Hello my friends, today we're going to prepare together a delicious variation of the classic Neapolitan Casatiello with sausage and friarielli. So let's start right away with the dough. In this recipe I'll use a teaspoon of lard, but if you prefer you can use oil instead. So let's get started with this delicious recipe by putting the flour into the stand mixer. Of course, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can easily make this dough by hand as well. The yeast, the water, and the lard. Let's start mixing the ingredients. Once the ingredients have thickened and the dough is starting to form, we add the salt and knead the dough until it becomes smooth and elastic. Great, the dough is ready. Here it is. Now we're going to give it a few folds. We shape it into a ball and let it rest. Sprinkle a bit of flour on the work surface and leave it here to rest, obviously covered with a bowl. While the dough is resting, we'll focus on the filling. As you can see, I already have some friarielli here, trimmed and washed. I've already prepared them earlier. And here I have some sausage with the casing removed and crumbled. In a saucepan, let's add a drizzle of oil. Obviously, the amount of oil depends on the quantity. You can judge for yourselves, okay? A clove of garlic crushed and a bit of chili pepper if you like it. If you don't like it, just leave it out. And let the garlic brown and the oil become fragrant, then add the crumbled sausage and let it brown. The sausage has browned, and at this point we add our friarielli. Let's add salt to taste. We cover with the lid and let it cook gently. And here are our friarielli. They've wilted. You don't want to cook them too much, okay? At this point, I remove the garlic clove, turn off the heat, and let it cool down a bit. 40 minutes have passed and everything we need is here, already prepared. Our dough has started to rise. Now let's assemble our Casatiello. How do we do it? Let's take this nice dough ball. Let's sprinkle a bit of oil on the work surface. Let's put a little on our hands too. And let's start rolling out the dough ball. They add a bit more oil. I also add a bit of lard. This is of course optional, but in this recipe, Casatiello really needs to be greased quite well. It has to be nice and rich. So let's grease our sheet of dough well and spread it out with our hands, gently spreading it. Let's add some pepper. Obviously this is to taste. You can put as much as you want, a little more, a little less, however you like. But you do need a bit of pepper. And now let's add both the sausage and the friarielli. But before adding it to the pastry, with some kitchen scissors, I cut up the friarielli a bit and maybe the sausage too. There we go, just like this. And I add it to the pastry. There we go. And let's arrange it nicely. Obviously, for those who don't have friarielli available, you can easily use broccoli or, I don't know, any other vegetable. So friarielli are the ones that most resemble broccoli. Okay, that being said, let's continue by adding some pecorino cheese. and Parmesan cheese, right? Let's be a little generous, okay? And to finish, I diced some mild provolone cheese. Of course, you can also replace this with whatever cheese you like best. So let's do it this way. Let's fill this beautiful sheet of pastry. Here we go. And now let's roll it up. This pastry, let's add a little more pepper. Let's roll it up. Here you go. I'm spraying a little oil on my hands. This way I grease my hands, and then let's go do this. This movement. So we're basically pulling it apart a little. The dough. We roll it up on itself. Here we go. Wait, I greased the bun pan with a diameter of 26 cm. Of course, I greased it with lard. If you prefer, you can grease it with butter or oil. And now at this point, all that's left is to put our Casatiello inside. Let's arrange it nicely. Let's seal the edges. I'll put a bit more lard on the surface, and now we just have to let it rise until it doubles in size, until it reaches the edge of the mold. Of course, I'll put it in the oven with the light on, but the oven itself turned off. Like this, without even covering it, and I'll wait for it to rise. See you later. The Casatiello, after 2 hours, 2 hours and a quarter, has risen a lot. And now there's nothing left to do, to bake it. And here is our Casatiello just out of the oven. I baked it at 210 degrees for 40 minutes. 15 minutes on the bottom of the oven and the remaining minutes in the center. I think I was clear. And now we just have to let it cool down a bit and then take it out of the mold onto a rack, like this. Now I'll show you, because this has cooled down a bit. We put it on the rack and leave it like this. And here it is. And oh, that smells amazing. Oh my. Why do you put it here on the rack? To prevent moisture from forming under the baking tray, so the Casatiello doesn't stay a bit soggy, okay? Now let's let it cool down and then we'll enjoy it. Okay. How delicious. Friends, what can I say? You have to try it. Try it and see for yourself. With that said, after this wonderful tasting, I say goodbye, send you all a hug, and wish everyone a happy Easter.